weekend, do you think? We will
Awesome.
get right on that.
Yeah, on it right now.
Force
So
is
we'll
not
see.
strong.
No. We are restarting.
Okay. Are we right now?
We should be on now.
Oh.
There we go.
Are we on now? We are on now.
Yeah, we are.
Hang on.
Oh.
Hey, there we are.
Okay.
Well, welcome.
Well, hold on a second.
Now that you can see us, now that you can hear us, Jeff has to go get his porg yeah, there we go. I think we're all set. Hey, that's okay. That's it, Jeff. You got it back? You got Jeff?
Yeah, no, I have
Jeff's
to get
got
it back.
His porg went away. Hang on.
Here it is. All right, there we go.
Let's see. There we go. There we go.
Oh, he's actually meowing. That's the best part. Okay.
That's awesome.
All right, now we're back. Very good.
We are back. Hey, this is going to be a fun Star Wars hour. All things Star Wars, all things Disney parks, from Star Tours 1.0 up till today, because today was the big announcement. Well, not announcement, just the unveiling of Episode 9 on Disney Plus, which I haven't watched yet on Disney Plus. I've seen it in the theater multiple times, but I'm very excited about that and to watch my favorite scenes again, probably the second half of the movie, I suppose. Want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Your cat is getting some shout outs in the chat, Jeff. There you go.
I feel he's over there wondering when his check's gonna hit in the mail, man. He feels like he's a big star now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that.
Royalties.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And if anyone's watching in the YouTube chat, make sure you listen to WDWN tunes at the same time. I can't go over all the tracks, but we do have 3 or 4 tracks from Oga's Cantina on the way. Plus, we'll also play the Galaxy's Edge theme song, The Big Sweet, from John Williams. And I got to love that one as well. We're also going to be talking about Star Tours. And if you could ride Star Tours with a Star Wars character, which one would it be? Make sure you check this or that, a poll that we have up on twitter.com/CosmicReid as well. And we're with you right until 10 p.m. Eastern, or until we either get cut off early or have to stay on later than that. So it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm pulling up the show notes as we do this, because I was a little rattled earlier. But so when it comes to Star Wars, you know, we're talking over 40 years, this huge franchise that has spanned an amount of time that really no other franchise has had that continuation from. When you talk about the actors from the first movie being Episode 4 right till the last one being Episode 9, and they were consistent all throughout it. They kept coming back and making it, even just small appearances, but I think it really made it cool. So Star Wars has really impacted us in different ways and been really special. That's why I enjoy it, because of the nostalgic parts of it. It started slightly before I was born, and then, you know, and ends just a couple months ago, right? And so you could really almost jump in at any time and love Star Wars, I think. So that's why it's kind of been special to me. Jeff, what would you say? I know you did see them, or at least one of them, in the theater, right, for the first time.
I definitely the age is going to show here in the group, and I'm okay with that on this particular setting. So I was not there for the first one. My parents took me to a drive-in to see Empire. And it's funny because I remember being there, but of course passing out because you're a kid, right? So by the time Jedi came out, I was able to see that with friends in the theater. And this was like back in the day before they had like 87 screen theaters, right? And it was just it was just Jedi, right? There were like 2 screens and Jedi's showing all day for like weeks on end. And man, when that music comes in, here's the best part to me about all of those movies, man. It's just the way they all start, the electricity that is happening in the theater. And this is why, I mean, it's awesome that they're on Disney Plus. Do not get me wrong. But that feeling of electricity when you hit black, and then it's like boom, and the logo comes, and that first, like, I just got chills, man, and the trumpets are going, and the brass, it's just amazing. You kind of like look left and you look right, and it's like everybody's just like giddy just reading that scroll. So it's like I've talked about this on a couple of segments in the past, but it's all about the magic, right? And that, to me, that's why it makes so much sense. Now, granted, it was a couple of bucks to get it. I wish I had that kind of money, but it makes so much sense that the Star Wars universe is part of the Disney brand, right? Because it just takes you away. And while I trend dark side, Angelina, we'll get to the poll, I guess, a little later, but I think I could be swayed back to the light. I'm just saying, guys, I think I could be swayed back to the light, you know? But the stories themselves, like, they're there to entertain, and it's a deeper level, and especially, like, right now, it's like, no matter what you think of the writing and things like that, it gives a little bit of hope for humanity. How about that? I went a little like meta on that. I've only had a couple of sips here. But anyways, next.
That was an answer.
Thank you very much.
It's just, it's really, was it Joel in the chat said Star Wars is all about generations. Each generation loves the movies that come out at the right time in their lives. And I would agree, you know, and it's something you can jump into. I'm at the early stages of thinking, I have a 1-year-old and I want to show him Star Wars. Do I show it in like episode 1 to 9, or do I'm thinking I would probably show him 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, right? Just to keep the surprises, you know?
I think you have to, right? Like, at this point now, I don't, and now I don't even know, but I mean, you touched upon something that I was going to talk about later, and yes, it was, so D1138 Vader says, start with 4. I'm with him. I'm not even going to overthink it. Don't even overthink it, because that's the way it was originally came out, and whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm jealous of you, and I think I'm getting a little bit over there, because like I don't have kids. I have that beautiful cat, and honestly, he's a handful. But this is one of the few, and it's usually always Disney related, and I'll get into this like when we're talking about like favorite movies, but like this is one of those few times where like I wish I could see this through the eyes of a child, right? Like, and I love that you're going to eventually get to experience that, because I think it's got to be something just unbelievable. And being in a theater watching the last movie, knowing that I saw maybe not the first movie, but the third movie when I was a kid, and there were people there my age, and they were able to wrap up this entire, I mean, think about it, man. This is a lifetime journey, right? From like 0-year-old, which you're not remembering any, you're definitely not remembering Jedi, right? But like from your youth to like now you've got kids and you're finishing this like lap together, and there's something just awesome about that only like a franchise like this can kind of encapsulate. I swear to God, I'm going to put myself on mute now. You guys go.
No, we love hearing you talk. You're passionate about it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What would you say, Angelina? So we were talking a little bit off the air and saying that kind of like the latest trilogy, like episodes 7, 8, and 9 is kind of the one that connected with you.
Yeah, well, I kind of like, I'm seeing Michael in the chat is going with me here. The Show in Order. That's how I just watched it recently, and that was the first time that I had seen all of them. And I feel like if you're trying to get a new person into Star Wars that's never seen it before, that would be the best way to do it, and then be able to understand it a little bit better that way. Mm-hmm. And then someone had also said, I saw in the chat here, where do you put Rogue One and Solo? But I mean, that's up for debate. Where do you put those?
So
tell us
Rogue would be Rogue is easy for me, and that's like 3.75, kind of like right before episode 4, right? I mean, because that's it essentially the end of Rogue One ties right up to episode 4, like right to the second. Like maybe there's 5 minutes in there.
I think you're right, and I don't want to sound like a jerk here with technology, but it's like, yes, look, the old movies stand up because of what they meant to us, right? But I mean, like, as a kid gonna love, you could almost like see the Death Stars hanging from a string. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like that's the only reason why I would say it's like, as the technology evolved, with the exception of this Jar Jar Binks thing, I wish we could edit him out. You know, like they just get better and better, like visually to the eye, you know? So that's why I wonder about that. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. But
yeah, no. And I for what was the other one? Solo. That's a tricky one. That's somewhere between like 2 and
Angelina.
3 or 3 and I don't know. What are you guys doing? What are you guys plotting?
No, I'm sorry.
I didn't want to say it out loud.
Yeah.
I just put in the
You
chat.
have to be in the chat.
You
have to be in the chat
Yeah.
to understand.
I have some different opinions on Jar Jar Binks, but that could be a whole show in itself.
Oh, we could. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That's the post show. I just want everybody to know I'm gonna get yelled at about the Jar Jar Binks comment now. But so, yes.
Well,
yeah,
so.
Well, I was just gonna say I agree about the Rogue One placement is interesting because I think, like, you know, it gives you like such fun like backstory, but at the same time it was kind of fun learning about that later. It's like when they make prequel. Well, I mean, it is a prequel, right? It's like you're like, oh my god, I never really knew that. Like, there's something cool about that. I don't know if you're supposed to be a traditionalist and watch them the way that they were meant to be seen. You know, I don't know the answer to that.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's up for debate. I know people that have, you know, watched them. There's even like some sort of like machete version, like watch it in some like I don't know. It's like episode 7, then episode 2, then episode 9. Like it's just some bizarre, but there's some logic behind it. And I've never done that. I mean, it's a commitment to watch all 9 or 11 movies if you want to go in order, which I know somebody that did before episode 9 came out. They did it from 1 to 8, and they put Rogue and Solo in there as well. Over the course of like 2 weeks, watch them all. Mm-hmm. That's commitment. That's commitment.
I was very curious what it was going to be, how much they gave them. It was a couple weeks. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think when Disney Plus came out, that a ton of people were doing that. It was like you filled up like, you know, all the social media feeds. People were like, oh, watching, you know, binging all the Star Wars. So that's interesting.
Totally. Yep. And Joel in the chat, I'm from the original trilogy generation. When TPM came, it's moving too fast, came out. It was like a betrayal in many ways. I still highly dislike Jar Jar Binks, but in hindsight, the prequels had a lot of good things. Yeah, the episode 1, 2, and 3 are probably the ones I could never see again and be somewhat okay with. I liked episode 1 because I liked Darth Maul, but we didn't see Darth Maul half as much as we should have. And I like that they brought him back in Clone Wars and such. And I mean, no spoilers here. Nothing's come out for a long time. So when Maul made the appearance in Solo, that was one of those big moments for me. Like, whoa, they're doing this. They gave him the robotic legs and everything, which I thought was really cool as well. So yeah,
I think that Darth Maul didn't get his, like, he didn't have his time. He deserved more. He's a very, very interesting character. So that's why I'm glad that he's seen in some of the Disney parks stuff, because he definitely deserves today.
Yeah,
I totally agree
I'm
with you,
excited,
man. Yeah, and he is just, I mean, he's fantastic. And I'm sorry to go back to this dark side thing, but Chris, you're saying the same thing, right? Like Darth Maul was this like wonderful just character with just like such menace. And it just seemed like they kind of wasted him a little bit. I mean, like that is one character, and I see people in the chat like I could do without all of the movies except for the first one and Darth Maul. But it's like, you know, I could go for a prequel on his backstory. I actually would think that would be amazing.
I'd love to see something like that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. He was just, Joel, I love how a big bad guy, Darth Maul, very scary looking, takes a hit. For me, the dramatic action worked well. Yeah, and like, I mean, Maul doesn't usually talk, right? In the first movie, he got like 2 words, and then he finally starts talking in, Clone Wars, and then in Solo as well, which I was super happy. Such menace. Phantom menace? Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's very good, yeah. Well, so we've been familiar with Star Wars being, and I got to take this guy off the shoulder. It's just it gets heavy and awkward.
Top heavy.
Anyway, this was it's fun while it lasted. I think there was an episode I did the entire thing on my shoulder, but
I think it was like the first one.
Probably.
He'll come back.
Probably. He makes appearances now and then. But Disney, and Star Tours has been in the park for forever and ever. And now there's the Galaxy's Edge in the 2 North American parks, and I think it's coming to Paris in a few years from now, maybe 2024 or something. So I just kind of wanted to go over some like Star Wars like memories in the parks and what stands out as being something cool, something memorable. Star Tours was my first attraction I went on, so I mean, I guess it's special in that. But now with Galaxy's Edge, there's so much more to it now. So let's kind of go around the table on this one. And Jeff, if you could think of something from like Star Wars related in the parks that has it's a good memory for you.
It's funny you say that about Star Tours, especially because that was. Am I wrong? Was that a launch? Was that there when they opened?
I think it was. I think it was one of the few things that were actually there. And I mean, so that thing, blew your mind. It probably was the first like motion simulator ride there was, or maybe Body Wars was before that. I think that might have been Body Wars and Epcot, but same kind of like simulation thing. But like when you're a kid, again, I go talking about seeing Jedi with my friends and my mom in a movie theater, and that was an unbelievable experience. And now you're able to be transported into this world, I mean, like how many times do we have to say like what is so amazing about Disney Imagineering able to do that? And now they've obviously they've upped the ante to the to 11 to steal from Spinal Tap and things like that. But I love some of the things that aren't even really attractions, and I think they actually did away with this, or they're doing away with it, but before Galaxy's Edge opened. You remember when the Imperial March would happen down the main streets, like towards the Chinese theater, and just that music. Yep. And it was great because it was a parade, but it wasn't really. It was over in like 6 minutes or something like that, and they did it like hour and a half.
Yeah.
But I loved that, and that was just a really cool kind of like thing. And you're like, oh wow, like you're not at no offense, you're not at like a Six Flags, right? Like there's such pomp and circumstance, and they are committed when it's 105 degrees. I cannot imagine how hot it was, and that Vader and Stormtrooper costume. But and then you go through the years, and I mean, I know everybody loves the latest attraction, but it's like I kind of love Smuggler's Run, man, because it took Star Tours and just was like, oh really, you thought Star Tours was cool, now go fly this ship. So I mean, those are just three for me. I mean, like that was just unbelievable. It was like they took the technology and they turned it on its head a little bit. So there you go.
Yeah. Awesome. Right on. Love it. Yeah. And that march, when they did the March of the First Order down the strip as well towards the Chinese theater with Captain Phasma leading the force for the First Order stormtroopers, I didn't know that was a thing when we were there some years ago now. And then when that music came on and we were standing at Sunset Boulevard, and like it was so loud, like the bass of this like crazy march was like you could feel it in your chest. It was so loud. I'm like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden Phasma around the corner with 15, 16, 18 stormtroopers. I'm like, whoa. And like, I mean, I do the whole cosplay thing, but that is intimidating. That is like a whole new crazy. I loved it. It's just, you get goosebumps just thinking of it. And I miss that they don't do that anymore, but it was really, really cool to see. Did you ever see that?
I was just going to ask you, did they stop doing that just because, everything kind of moved to the back of the park? It was like, why would we do this in the front of the park when Galaxy's Edge is open? Yeah, I guess so. That makes sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't fit with the timeline. I didn't know that
they stopped that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Captain Phasma is dead as far as we know, and Galaxy's Edge takes place between episode 8 and episode 9. So at the end of episode 8 before episode 9, I think that's the timeline is supposed to be. So she wouldn't be over there.
Right.
I mean, I guess they still have Launch Bay where you can see Vader. They did a Vader meet and greet now. They got
Yeah.
the BB-8 meet and greet and Chewbacca meet and greet over there as well, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's.
I need to go back. I feel like the last time I was there, totally different.
Yeah.
But you
I
did.
think
Yeah. You've done like Star Tours though, right? Like the classic Star Tours ride.
Oh, of course, yeah. When I was there, there were Star Tours. Galaxy's Edge was like just started being built, and the launch bay had Chewbacca and BB-8, and I think Kylo was still there. That was the last time I was there.
Yeah.
They swapped him out. They swapped him out for Vader because Kyle is now in Galaxy's Edge doing and it's cool because they just walk around. The stormtroopers just walking around. They'll go up to random. If I wore this jacket and this shirt to Galaxy's Edge, and if you wear this stuff, it's like fair game for them to come up to you and pretend to detain you, and or if you're holding a red lightsaber. Heather, my wife, saw Chewbacca take a guest and had the back of their shirt and put the guest up to a wall and made him stand there with his head against the wall for a certain amount of time, he detained him. It was the whole crowd around. It was super funny. So they're really good, and Rey is really good. She's walking around there too. Vi Marati is another character that they've developed for the land, and there's books on her as well. So she's running around from the stormtroopers as well. It's just really, really cool. I've never been to a place that's a land that is just so immersive in everything. And they do a good job in Pandora as well, in terms of the name tags and stuff, and they have different sayings, but this just took it to a whole new level where even money is credits. They don't know what money is. It's credits, right?
There's a whole different language.
Yeah.
It is.
This is that next generation of what your kid is going to be able to experience, right? They did some crazy stuff with Pandora, and now this is. Drew had just said something just about how much he loves the place, and you're talking about how absolutely immersive it is, and there's so many things going on that you almost have to pay attention to or else you'll miss it. And that's cool too, man. You can go in, ride the attractions, and get the heck out and go ride Tower of Terror, whatever, or you literally could sit in there for, I just typed this, for half a day and not see all of the little Easter eggs, which is just a testament to, again, the Imagineers and how much goes into it.
Absolutely.
Vince in the chat said, when I was last at Hollywood Studios, I walked out of the restaurant nearby, Backlot Express, and saw Darth Vader doing the show with the kids by the stage there. So Vader made eye contact with me, and I did the chokehold on him. He shook his head no at me, and I walked away in shame like a little Padawan. That's awesome. Love it. That's so cool.
How cool
it's just
Darth Vader.
It's a really it's a really immersive land, and you know what, they're really good with the meet and greets in Galaxy's Edge as well. So we took our 1-year-old to Disneyland and did the Vader meet and greet, and I was like, well, what's he gonna how is Will, our son, and how is he gonna react to Darth Vader? And he was okay. There's a really cute picture where Will is looking up at Vader, and Vader, he kept his distance. So clearly they've been trained to not get in the face or whatever. Right? So he kept his distance, but then Vader did put out his hand, and Will put his hand in Vader's hand, and Vader's talking, but again, at a complete arm's length. And as Will got more comfortable, Vader got closer and a little bit closer to him. And at the end, Vader booped him on the nose, which I thought was that was half a second of a Disney moment. That was the person inside going boop, cute little baby, and moving on. But otherwise, he was all in Vader, and it was cool because Vader doesn't do that. So I just thought that was it's a really, really special moment, I guess. But that's what
Disney
they
knows
do.
How to do those special moments.
They certainly do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the lightsaber experience and Savvy's, and I know people go $200 US. It's a huge chunk of change to put down for a 15 minute experience. If I seem distracted, I'm just going to pretend I'm in like a Star Wars cave because there is something with 8 legs crawling up the wall right now. But as long as it keeps a distance from me. No, I named him Peter Parker. He was down here the other day, and now he's over there. So if he keeps a distance, I'm cool. He's coming closer.
Use the Force.
He's getting much more. You've got 32 minutes to keep him at bay.
Go that way. Get out of here.
Take the lightsaber out. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's it. I can tap this guy. Okay, he stopped. So, Savvy's Lightsaber Experience. It $200, but here's what you get. And I'm not trying to be like a salesman. I'm not trying to like justify what I spent my money on, but you get the custom-made hilt. You can choose from one of 4. Choose all these different pieces that you want to put together. You can choose the color of your lightsaber, your own kyber crystal. You get a bag with the Savvy's logo on it to carry your entire finished lightsaber in. And you also get the experience of being in that cave and in this crazy show where you build that lightsaber from scratch and all these kind of things happen. I don't want to go into too much detail of that in case there's people that haven't done that, because I mean, Galaxy's Edge wasn't open for a year in either park, I think, before they shut. So it hasn't been done by a lot of people, but it's, so you can also go to, I can't think of the name right now, like the Antiquities, Doc Ondar's Antiquities store. Den of Antiquities, that's what it is. And so you can buy like a hilt. So you can buy like Darth Maul's hilts, or you can buy Vader's hilts. Well, those alone are like $120, $140. Then you have to buy a blade that's like $30, and you don't get a bag for it. And it's the if you get Mace Windu's, it's purple, and it's only purple, and you can't take it out. So for almost the same amount, if you're going to buy one of those, and then you get this crazy experience, which like it brought me to tears right at the very beginning when I walked in, because it was just so immersive. And I want to know if anyone in the chat has done this as well. Let me know if you've done Savvy's. I want to know your experience. A Canadian spider can't be too big. It's probably very friendly.
Yeah.
Get the friendliest
staying
spiders.
there. Hi, neighbor. Yeah. No.
I know. I noticed that Drew had said not to mention the experiences of building a lightsaber and droids. So I'm assuming he did this.
It also seems like Joel also says that he was a part of it too.
Okay. All right.
That's
well,
awesome.
I got to tell you, when you, there he is. Drew said he loved every minute. I got to tell you, you could be selling me on it. I thought you were crazy when you told me how much it was. But I will say this, like you've said it 100 times, and anytime we're talking about Disney, what you remember is the experience, and that lasts for not 1, not 5, not 10. I mean, it lasts decades. And I mean, can you really put a price on that? So, I mean, that definitely, I mean, your pictures were amazing. So, I mean, that looks really cool.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is, so when you do it, then you can go around in this crazy Black Spire outpost, and if you have someone willing to take photos with you or of you, you can do some crazy shots. And the Disney photographers that are around there, they know the right angle. They can get you to like swipe your blade across, then you have this really cool like light effect around the entire picture. Awesome. It looks like you're swinging it mid-action. It's just incredible. We actually came across a freelance camera person who was just in Galaxy's Edge, just taking photos for fun. He lived in California, and was like, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable going up to kids with lightsabers, but you're an adult. Can I take your photo and I'll send you them?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, no question." So we got each other on Instagram right away, and he did some crazy settings, and I got some really cool photos in there. And I do have the lightsaber for anyone in the chat. I'm not sure if anyone's looking to see it, but so it is made of metal, and the brown is supposed to be wood. It is rubber, and this was my custom build. It was the elemental nature build with a Rancor tooth on the end. And I haven't done anything to it, like to weather it. I haven't. I know some people like to switch it up and do different things. And it lights up blue. It's got a really good sound as well. But and
go get that spider, man. Go get that spider. Stop it. Stop screwing around.
If I poke the spider with this, he's gonna like crawl up the blade and come closer to me, and I'm gonna drop this thing, and I'm gonna cry. No, I can't. I'm so tempted, but I'm not gonna. But this was one of the coolest things. I don't regret it for a second. I love it. I mean, it's for me, it's a display piece. You take it to Comic Cons and stuff, but they're all canceled right now, so you can't do that. But I don't want to change this. I love it, and I highly, highly recommend it if you have the opportunity to do Savvies. Book early. Land, you don't have to as much, but World, you have to book weeks or even months in advance to get a spot, because there's only one room in each in Land and one room in World. So they have 15 spots, and it takes like 20 minutes to do. Then they have to reset. Probably takes 10 minutes. So they don't have a lot of slots for this. So if you do it and you're a Star Wars fan, it's going to suck you right into the story. It's incredible, and I highly, highly recommend it.
I love that.
Probably get an appointment right now for Disney World.
Yeah, no, you probably should, yeah. So,
Start now.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the movies. He's on the move. If you're just tuning in, there's a big spider on the wall. Keeping tabs on. I am paranoid of spiders. You probably figured this out by now. I've had bad experiences with spiders.
You certainly do not look affected at all. It is not affecting you one bit. Let's go.
He's at like 2 arms length away from me, so we're good. We're cool right now. As long as he stays on that wall.
in the chat said this spider suddenly brings out 6 tiny red sabers and backflips towards Chris. I want to see that as a short film myself.
It's like he has General Grievous, but he's got 6 red ones. I'd run. You guys got to finish the show. I'm done. I'm out of here. We talked about the movies and the kind of the order, like we'd put them in and we'd watch them, what Star Wars means. But out of 11 films, and I know Tom Corliss and some other people were doing this today on in the daytime. They were ranking all the movies. I don't want to exactly do that because they've already done it for themselves. But I would like to just kind of go over a round table of all 11 of the movies. Which one is your favorite? Which one will you watch day and night, anytime someone says watch a Star Wars movie? Which one do you put on? Angelina, let's start with you this time. What do you say?
Okay, well, there's so many to choose from, but I feel like I'm going to speak for the new generation of Star Wars, and I'm going to go with a movie that I think brings together the older generation, the old movies, the old characters, Han Solo, Chewbacca, but also brings in the new characters, Rey, Poe, and my Porg here, and I'm going to go The Force Awakens. I think that movie, the soundtrack, first off, Rey's theme, I can listen to that anytime. It just gets me going. But the movie itself, you could have it on at any time, any day. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it was episode 7 that got me back into Star Wars after a bit of a, I like this, but I don't love it, but it's definitely gave me the bug and probably forced me to wear all these things and build this BB-8 behind me.
Well, and after waiting for so long to see a new movie too, and then you see Chewie come in right away, and you're like, oh my gosh, new old characters, and it's so exciting, and you have the old audience and the newer audiences coming together and being all excited about it because they know who those characters are. It was just a really cool experience for me as my first Star Wars movie in theaters. So I'm sure that other people in the chat might disagree with me, but that's what we're here for. I love discussing it. So
my mom saw episode 7 with me in the theaters when it came out in 2015. And it was really cool for her because she had seen like episode 4, 5, 6 in theaters. She wasn't like a diehard Star Wars fan, but she did love the movies. So for her to see Harrison Ford come back, and like the quick couple seconds you see Mark Hamill at the end of episode 7, and then when Harrison Ford, the inevitable happens to him in that movie, I have never heard her like gasp so hard. She loved Han Solo, and I mean I had seen it already. I knew it was coming. I was just sitting there. She was just devastated when that happened. And it's like she's like, maybe he's gonna come back. Maybe he's gonna come back. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like lots of people have fallen down the endless pit and somehow come back. You know, you could name 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. But I don't. You know, he did. He made that appearance in episode 9. Right. But that was it. And so that I remember seeing that, and that was a very kind of like touching moment with my mom there, who saw the originals in the theaters too. Jeff, how about you?
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to come back to that. I love that you had that moment with your mom, because how many different things can just take you away from, especially right now, it's just the insane reality that we're going through, right? So, I mean, I go back to, you know, I saw Empire at the drive-in with my parents. Of course, I fell asleep. So I go to Jedi. Was it the best movie? If you could go back, I'm unsure, but I also like plenty of closed Disney attractions, right? Because it's like what you remember, and it's what's stamped. It's what's stamped, you know, right here on you. But I gotta tell you, I hate hearing about the critics panning Skywalker, because I thought that movie was fantastic, and it was basically a love letter. It was a true love letter to the Star Wars fan. If you were even just a small little fan to the most crazy, you know, con fan, I mean, it had something for everyone in there, little Easter eggs if you've been with it, for everything. But, you know, for the critics, I'm like, go watch Peanut Butter Falcon, man. That was a fantastic movie, right? Like, those are the movies. Like, go watch that. Like leave the Star Wars world alone, because there's only like a few moments in life where you can think about something just bringing just generations together, right? I mean, I love, like I was talking about a kid before. It's like, you know, people my age with children who saw Jedi in the theater with their buds in grade school, and like, you know, now they bring their kids, and like just seeing the smile on both like mom, dad, and kid in a row next to me is something that, you know, only something like this big could do, you know what I mean? And being in a theater and feeling that just electricity is what it's all about. I mean, Disney Plus is great, but it's like, you know, that's the power and magic of Disney, and it's no wonder why they bought Lucasfilms, man. So just great stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's there's so many. It's so hard to choose just one movie out of. Oh, man.
I was going to say, I'm surprised, Chris, that you even were able to listen to Jeff's story, because I was just watching you the whole time freaking out about the spider.
I don't
Jeff,
think
that was a great story.
I'm going to quiz him. Thank you, Angelina. I'm going to quiz him.
I'm getting a quiz? What?
Yeah, that's right. You're getting a quiz on my pontification answer. Go ahead.
I like the whole thing. It was great.
Yeah, beautiful.
So if you're just tuning in, I'm distracted by an 8-legged spider. It's up on the wall. It's coming closer to me. I hate spiders, and it is now behind the poster, so I don't even know where it is. So if you see me distracted, that is why. I hate these things, and I don't know if it came at the bottom. I can't see. Okay, we're gonna keep going. We got 18 minutes. We're good. If this guy is still on, or girl, I don't know what it is. If this spider is still on the wall by the time the show ends, I will wrap up the show and I will go put it outside, or I'll get my wife to go put it outside.
I love that you're going to get your wife to do that. That's great.
Hey, she said in her vows she will kill all the spiders for me. She legit said that.
Well, there you go. That's a contract right there.
There you go.
That is the contract.
After you told that beautiful Phantasmic story last week that I hope everyone was able to hear, she better.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm going to quickly go over my my favorite Star Wars movie, and it's actually not from the Skywalker saga. And my jaw hit the floor a little when Tom said this today again. They were ranking them. least favorite to most favorite, and Tom's least favorite is my most favorite, and that being Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I really liked how it connected episode, it brought what episode 4 started, but then what happened before? How did they get the plans? I thought it was important that you see how they get it. I know there's going to be a whole bunch of characters that are likely going to die. You're not going to see again unless it's some sort of prequel to that one, but I liked how gritty it was. I liked the beach scene. Like we're on Scarif Beach. Because so much of this obviously is the TIE fighters and stuff in the sky, but to bring it down on the land like that for as long as they did on a beach, it felt like a real gritty war movie at times, and even some of their costumes were representative of that, like what Jyn was wearing and just Cassian. It's just a little bit more down to earth and gritty, and I really liked that. I loved the Death Troopers. They're my favorites of all the troopers from the Empire. They were just so intimidating looking and creepy looking, and tall, and just had this crazy presence that I loved. I liked what they did. I know there's lovers and haters of it, but when they brought back Grand Moff Tarkin and they CGI'd him to look like Peter Cushing from the original after he had passed away, I thought that was done incredibly. The Darth Vader scene I would pay admission just to see that. That was insane in that movie. I thought at first he was just going to light up the saber and that was going to be it. And then he just goes on this crazy rampage like you've never seen Vader before. He's throwing him to the left, he's throwing him to the right, he's putting him in the ceiling, and he's force choking them, and lightsaber through the gut and through the door, and he's just he's so mad. And he goes out on the ship and they're getting away, and 2 stormtroopers behind him, and the Empire theme comes around, and it's just I thought that was the end. And then it keeps going, and then you see Leia, and it's goes down to that hallway, and it's just man, it just ties it all in. It had everything. It had the sassy droid K2. He's incredible. I love Jyn. She up till recently was my favorite female character. Jyn is amazing. Yeah. If we're talking Star Wars, Jeff.
Oh, sorry.
So I like Rogue One because it was fun. It was different. It wasn't a Skywalker saga movie, but it had to be shown. I really think it had to be shown. So I'm going with that. What is it? I'm just happy Chris is going to sit outside. Yep.
I absolutely love this answer so much, because when you said it the first time, I think I might have audibly gasped, because you just don't see it coming. You know what I mean? It's like that person that gets hit in the horror movie by a bus when they're just crossing the street and it kind of comes out of nowhere. That's how I felt when you just randomly dropped Rogue One. But the absolute passion of which you just spoke for the last 90 seconds is amazing. And I think that everybody that had anything to do with that movie, I hope somehow they can somehow hear that someday. You should probably subclip it and send it to everyone who worked on the film. It was a lot of passion there, man. And I mean, you're making me want to go rewatch it. I didn't hate the movie, but I definitely did not think of it with all those layers. It was definitely an enjoyable experience, but you love Rogue One. I got you.
Big fan here.
I do.
We see it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, totally. It's the one I could watch over and over. And you know what? In some parts, depending on the day I've had, I'll still tear up at the end of that movie. And I know what's coming. I've seen it so many times, but I will seriously tear up because I'm just man, that's just I don't know if I put myself in their position or something, or I don't know where this thing is. This is just driving me nuts that it's behind a poster. I can't see. There's a spider. If you're just tuning in, there's a spider in behind the Dreamport poster. Actually,
personally, I feel like your Fitbit going after that passionate.
Well, I was going to say,
in the chat said Chris just have a little extra adrenaline today.
You should just keep talking about Rogue One for the next 12 minutes, because you'll forget all about the spider.
Last week, when I told the story of the engagement, at the end of it, my watch was like, "Congratulations on going for a run." I was like, well, I didn't go for a run. What are you talking about? That's how passionate that was. So, I don't know where this thing is, man. This sucks. This is like it's got my Dreamport poster. You know, like remember the Rainbow Tunnel from Imagination Pavilion, the second floor? It's that one. It's behind it.
We should make him a guest. Put him in the fourth square.
There you go.
The M
I will.
If you capture that, you put that in the fourth square.
The only time I catch spiders right now is in what is that game? Animal Crossing.
Oh,
Addicted.
Oh man, are you playing Animal Crossing? Oh no. Okay, can we talk about that next week? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, do you have it? Did you play it?
No, I have been on the fence since I got back from Hong Kong, man. I have been waiting for that game to come out, and I actually just have not pulled the trigger on even. I almost bought it a Switch just for that game. But again, it's Star Wars Day, so we'll talk about that next week. Okay. Did you really?
Yeah.
I'll buy one. I'll buy one tomorrow.
Do it. We'll
if you can find one.
Yeah, they're hard. It's hard to. Yeah. It was luck that I found one. Okay, so we got about 10 minutes left or so.
Wow.
Were you guys plotting something earlier? There was something that you wouldn't tell me about, but were you?
I was going to surprise you with some Disney trivia, but you've gone so crazy. So let me do it. I know you got to at least tease this or that though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk about that, and I'll pull up the poll right now as we're talking about. So the this or that poll this week. If you log on to Twitter, twitter.com/Cosmic Reid. Basically today, we every Monday we ask a question, Disney parks related. Well, today we thought we'd have some fun with it being Star Wars. You have about 20 minutes left to vote on this right now. Which side calls to you, the light side or the dark side? You can vote right now at Cosmic Reid on Twitter. Right now, 68% of people say the light side and 32% say the dark side.
Ooh, okay. So that bumped up a little bit. That bumped up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was light side right off the bat, and then dark side is creeping up a little bit. I don't know if it'll take it over at this point, but I like to think that spider is hopefully like a light side guy. We can like team up or something. Because he was just down here the other day when I was working down here, and he was just chilling, and I was like, yeah, if you just stay there, you're cool, man. But I don't know. Tonight he's like moving around, and Peter is his name.
Peter
Parker, right? Yeah.
All right. So chat room.
No clue.
What's the chat room? So chat room, light side or dark side is really what I want to know, because again, you guys know my answer, and I'm just very curious about other people. So while some people start answering, I'm gonna just give you a little Star Wars trivia, okay? Because I found this one interesting. You ready? This is for you, Chris, by the way, but okay. Because you are the resident one host, and two, you have all the stuff. So because you have all the stuff, you have to answer the questions. No. So here's a fun one. I feel like I'm starting easy here. Which Star Wars movie was filmed entirely in the studio? Entirely. I actually did not know this until today.
Oh man.
I could make it multiple choice, but I don't want to. But I can.
The entire movie was?
The entire movie. It was crazy to me.
Okay, so I'm down to like two. And I'm not looking at the YouTube chat. I don't have it in front of me right now. People are answering this right now.
Yeah, don't cheat.
No, I'm not. No, I'm like hands are. I'm not. Oh man. Episode 3?
Oh God, man! You see, you that's really good. Ding. See, does anybody have a ding?
Was
ding,
it right?
Ding, ding, ding. Mike, yes, you are. Yes.
Oh, good.
Unlike the previous Star Wars films, which were shot both on sound stages and location, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, was filmed entirely in the studio. The only location work was a background plate shot during the production of Episode 2. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a trick question, actually. But still, I thought that was very impressive.
Well, it's just
the chat.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Well, I was just saying the chat room is blowing up with answers to this or that. So, but let me just do this one because you're such a droid person. C-3PO is fluent in how many languages?
Ooh,
all except for the one he couldn't.
Do you really know the answer?
All except for the one he could. Is well,
Eh,
like how many
all except
languages
the
does
one
he
in the
know?
last one. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
That's correct. How many
That is
languages
correct.
can C-3PO speak? How many can he speak?
Is there a
Oh.
specific number for the answer, or is it like a ballpark?
I'll even take a ballpark. I'll give you 6 billion, 6 million, 6 trillion, or 6,000.
what's the highest one?
Okay, yeah, I know.
Trillion?
I know.
All right, somebody's got it in the. What's the highest one? Would be trillion.
Trillion?
Though I'm not good at math. I think that's the right answer. Trillion. Wait, trillion's bigger than billion, right, Angelina?
Yeah, it is. Tribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
we've got
Chris, you went for
differing-
trillion?
Yeah, we have differing
Yeah.
answers in the. So that's your final answer, my Regis.
Sure.
Your final
This
answer.
is- I'm
gonna go for
You would
billion.
be. You would
Angelina's
be
billion.
Angelina's billion. It actually would be 6 million languages. So somebody in the
Oh.
chat room got it. Sorry, guys. It was
Both over.
D1138 Vader said over 6 million, but I'm gonna give it to him. Nice job. Adam got
Okay.
it. Adam got it. Okay. All right. So
Very
light side,
good,
dark
very
side.
good.
So it does
Yeah.
seem like
Yeah.
we got a lot of light sides, don't you think, Angelina? Were you keeping track in there?
Yeah, when I was seeing, but you know what? I was also seeing quite a few dark side, which honestly is
like it.
pretty interesting. Yeah, of course you do.
I do like it, and now I'm putting the lights back the way they should be, because that's my answer. But where would you like to start, Chris, on the round table?
For what?
For the this or that? Is
Well,
the
I feel
spider-
like you're
is the
kind of
spider-
starting it off right now. I mean, Chris is really
Okay,
distracted,
alright.
so it's okay.
I see.
Sorry,
I've
yeah.
never seen. I'm actually scared for his heart right now. I feel like he might like stroke out.
Yeah.
That thing comes any closer.
I'll start. The problem is I have another computer monitor that's like covering half the poster. So to see the entire poster and to see if this little guy gets out, I have to go like that. So that's why I keep doing that. I can't move this monitor. Anyhow, spider issues here. So
Oh my god.
light side, dark
Screenshot
side.
this.
So you know what? For so long I liked the dark side. I was all about the dark side. I have many the villain costumes that I have behind me, the Death Trooper and Greedo. It could be argued that he's a bad guy as well, a bounty hunter, if anything. But in episode 9, Rey really called to me for some reason, and I liked her in episode 7 and episode 8. I was like, okay, but something about her in episode 9, I don't know if it's just because she was so like badass and I don't know, something about her, I loved it. And I like the way her like the saber looked, and when she held it, it just looked awesome. I know some people really didn't like it, but it drew me in. That's why I ended up picking the blue kyber crystal at the experience at Savvy's workshop, because that blue is sticking to me as a lightsaber color, and it was Rey. So I'm gonna have to say I'm team light side today. Yeah.
I feel like that's reasonable. Well, especially with your lightsaber now. I don't think you have any other choice anymore.
I do have a Kylo lightsaber somewhere around the house too, though. My wife was using it
But I would think
FaceTime
that
with her.
since you're not killing this spider, that shows your light side right there. You're not going like full Kylo Ren on him, you know?
True.
That's a great
This is true.
point, Angelina.
That is true. I will take this thing outside the house if it's still behind the poster, and if it's not, I'm heading upstairs without question, because I don't know where this thing is now. Yeah, so I'm team light side. We got 2 minutes or so, or 3 minutes left here. What's everyone else thinking?
Oh, wow.
Angelina, do you want to go? I think everybody. Did anybody answer you? I know you asked in the chat room.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm kind of torn. I do like the Resistance a lot. I would say that, yeah, I feel like the light side has chosen me, and we're all for the good guys here. So I'm gonna stick with Chris.
Okay. All right.
Love it. Team light side. All right.
Team light side.
I feel bad here. I'm surrounded by red and if I could get the Imperial March playing over here. I feel like it's the unpopular selection based on Twitter, but I think that if we were all maybe just a little bit more honest with ourselves, that maybe there would be a little bit of a different answer. You know, I think maybe we have to be honest, not the happy holiday. I'm going to give you, Angelina, I had you pegged light side like all the way. You talked about the fairy godmother, all of that stuff, and I believe that. But I mean, I still think there is nothing cooler than the Emperor just being able to shoot lightning bolts out of his hands. And there's just something, man, just, I think that villains wouldn't be so popular, I don't think, if there wasn't a side of us that wish we had that kind of power. So I'm team dark side. I'm sorry. I know I'm probably going to get banned from the show in the chat room from that. Joel's got my back right there. Joel's got me.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Joel's got it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dark side, D1138 Vader says dark side is cooler, but I'd have to fight for good. So I guess the light side.
That's good. Yeah,
there's lots of debate on this one. I want that force lightning. Yeah. I mean, that's like Rey, right? Oh, yeah, that moment where she shot out the force lightning in episode 9 is amazing. Like, whoa. And the funniest part, I just wrap this up really quick. Then episode 9, there was a theory after episode 7 came out that Rey was Palpatine's granddaughter, and that stuck together. And it's been out for a few months. But
hope everyone's on.
They were talking about it earlier today as well. But I mean, it's just like there was this theory, and we latched on. We didn't create it, but we latched onto it. So when it happened in episode 9, we were kind of like, "Whoa!" It's just like, how many times, especially in Star Wars, do you predict exactly what's going to happen? And they usually. You can't guess, and they got people that read these theories and go, "Oh, people think this, so let's do this. People think that, so let's do that."
Yeah.
So, but hey,
I feel like we could probably have a whole conversation about. Sorry, I know we're leaving, but a whole conversation about the end of the last movie. Yeah, another day.
Yeah, we can. I mean, Revenge of the Fifth. I think will Monday fall on May 5th next year. I wonder.
Next year, possibly.
Next year.
Next week, how is that possible?
Let's just do it. Who cares? No, next week it's going to be fun because a few weeks ago we started our discussion on Disney characters, and it ended up being all we talked about was what characters would you quarantine with, and that took the entire hour. So we thought we would continue that conversation and talk more about character interactions we've had. What characters would you want to see? That kind of thing. But at the same time, Jeff, Angelina, and I will all be drawing a Disney character from memory without looking. We're at computers. We're not going to look. We're not going to look at books or anything. It's just going to have to be what it is. And at the end of the show, we will show you our creations. And if you're in the YouTube chat, you can vote on which one you like. And we can end it like that, I think, which it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a disaster.
It's just a disaster waiting to happen.
Okay. It is. Yeah, it totally is. So we'll be doing that next week. This has been an awesome hour. The spider, I think, is still behind the poster. So I'm going to go let it out. If it's not there, I'm seriously going to have nightmares about coming to work down here tomorrow. But Jeff,
please post a picture on Twitter. Please post a picture on Twitter if you save the spider.
I will.
The update.
I will for sure. Guys, thanks so much for joining. As always, we're back next Monday at 1. No, I do all these different shows. We're at 9. I'm distracted because of the spider. I swear I'm distracted because of the spider that's
you are awesome
terrorizing me. It's this tiny little thing is just right inside my brain now. But it's not actually inside my brain, right? No, I got headphones on. I'm good. We got to wrap this up. I'm Cosmic Chris Reid for Jeff and Angelina. Thanks so much for tuning in. Oh, there's force lightning on Jeff's.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks all for tuning in. We're back next week at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. May the 4th be with you. Stay safe and have a magical night.